6. It includes a unique interview with Hitler's architect Albert Speer. That's at 8:05 next Sunday. And Robert Hugh's written version of each programme in the series will be appearing weekly in The Listener on the Thursday following the transmission, beginning this coming Thursday. In 5 minutes, we begin the full cycle of Bach's Brandenburg concertos. They're played by the Scottish Chamber Orchestra, introduced and directed from the harpsichord by Raymond Leppard. First, News on 2 from John Edmonds.
A plane crash at the wartime fighter station Biggin Hill in Kent kills all 7 people on board. The 40th anniversary of the Battle of Britain was being marked today by a special service and a flypast when the aircraft, a twin-engined A-26 Invader, came down several hundred yards from the runway. The plane was used by the American Air Force at the end of the last war and again in Korea and Vietnam. It was taking part in the display at the Biggin Hill airfield when it went out of control and crashed only yards from some houses, as Richard Whitmore reports.
The aircraft narrowly missed a large group of people watching from a field as it plunged into a valley just south of Biggin Hill, and in the words of one witness, disintegrated in a ball of flame. The impact scattered wreckage hundreds of yards, some of which finished up beside a road. By the time the emergency services had arrived, it was clear that no one inside the Invader could have survived. The aircraft was privately owned by a group of British enthusiasts. Despite the large number of people in the area, no one on the ground was seriously hurt. The main part of the wreckage ended up only a short distance from a housing estate. The tragedy occurred during what was the last Battle of Britain display to take place at the famous wartime fighter station.
Border fighting between Iran and Iraq has intensified, with naval clashes and rocket and artillery
places of Islam. And so the Queen had spent the night sailing around the coast in the royal yacht and made a dusty drive inland to visit the place, following in the footsteps of her mother 20 years ago. She was invited inside, a rare honour for an infidel woman, and yet another of the many signs during her visit to Tunisia of the high esteem in which Britain is held here. Lunch was listed as a tented picnic with a display of typical local dancing and horsemanship. Everyone pretended to ignore the fact that the tent was erected behind the local hotel, and the desert sands upon which the display was performed was the hotel car park. A little improvisation is only to be expected when a queen drops in on a place like Kairouan. This is Keith Graves in Kairouan.
And so we return home for the main news points once again. Over 60 children have died in an explosion at their school in Spain. It's thought to have been an accident. The Soviet Prime Minister, Mr. Kosygin, has resigned because of ill health. A decision by the Environment Secretary to stop all new council house building in England has been condemned as callous by the opposition. That's the 9 o'clock news. If you won't move this later, good night.
Evening to you. Well, here's the low in its front which brought all that heavy rain to Northern Ireland earlier on today. It's still going to be with us tomorrow, but I think it will be a much weaker feature, so not so much heavy rain around. This low is also giving us some problems, but I think most of the rain from this one is going to move across northern France. On the satellite picture you can see the cloud around both of those lows really. Certainly a good deal of cloud over northern parts. Then some clear weather over most southern areas tonight, but this cloud just clipping along the south coast as that other depression moves towards that northern part of France there. But so far as we're concerned, as I said, those central areas certainly having a fine clear night. A little bit of rain moving along the south coast and still quite cloudy with further rain at times up in the far north. Tomorrow, a bright day in the south to start with certainly, but I think we're going to find it clouding up and some showers developing, some of the showers turning out to be fairly heavy. Up in the north, still some cloudy weather with some rain to come, but I think in western Scotland and Northern Ireland at long last it will eventually become a bit drier and a bit brighter, and that's it.
A look at some of Friday's programmes on BBC One.
We'll have a look.
At 7 o'clock, It Ain't Half Hot, Mum, and Gloria has a mysterious ailment.
Nothing in there, sir.
At 7:30, the Dawson Watch.
This is the manner in which the giant Ambesi River bat whiles away the daylight hours, hanging like this, high up in these huge trees. He knows he's perfectly safe.
At 8 o'clock, To Serve Them All My Days, and an eventful meeting for David. Some programmes tomorrow evening on BBC One.
Newman's drama